Hello everyone, my name is Adarsh Shota and in this video we will be talking about the closure properties of context-free languages. The context-free languages are closed under the union property, the concatenation property and the clean star property. In this video we will discuss these three properties in detail and first we will understand what the union property is with respect to an example, and then we will see how the context-free languages satisfy the union properties. The same thing we'll do for the concatenation property and the clean star property. So now we will talk about the union property. So in this slide I have taken language L1 and language L2. So the union property basically states that if language L1 is a context-free language and language L2 is a context-free language, then the language that will be obtained from the union of L1 and L2 will also be a context-free language. Now we will see through some of our examples how this happens. So in example 1, what is happening is that we have taken L1 as A and Bn, and in this set of L1 we are going to have epsilon A, B, double A, double B, basically all the strings in which the number of A and number of B are equal and B is following A. And for L2 we have taken C to the power m, D to the power m, which basically means that number of C's and number of D's would be equal and D would follow C. So when we basically do L1 union L2, what we acquire is that we acquire a set L3 in which we will get the strings that were in L1 and in L2, and this third set, which is the union of both these sets, will be the language L3. And now for this language we can clearly see that we would be able to design a pitch down automata, and therefore this is also a context-free language. And so we observed that for the language L1, which was also a context-free language, and for the language L2, which was also a context-free language, after acquiring the union of both these languages we got a third language L3, which is also a context-free language. So this is one of our observations right now, and then now we will go for example 2. So now in example 2 we have taken L1 as A and B and Cm. So in this set L1 we will have equal number of A's and equal number of B's, but the number of C's would be different. It can be 0, 1 and 2, or 2 and anything. And so L1 will have the strings like epsilon AB, ABC, AB double C's, and any number of C's basically after equal number of A's and equal number of B's. And for language L2 we have taken C to the power k, D to the power k, which is the same as our last example, that in which we had taken this similar L2. So in L2 basically number of C's and number of D's would be equal, and L2 will also contain the string epsilon. So when we will do the union of L1 and L2 we will get the set in which we will have all the strings from L1 and all these strings from L2. And since we can see that now we are again seeing the same pattern that this set L3 is it's also a context-free language, and so we have arrived at a similar observation as before, that that if L1 is a context-free language and L2 is a context-free language, then their union is also giving a context-free language. So this happens for every case and thus we can conclude that if L1 and L2 are context-free languages, then their union will also give a context-free language, and this is the union property of any language. And since context-free languages satisfy this property, therefore we will say that context-free languages are closed under union. So now we have come to the concatenation property. So basically what happens for context-free languages is that if L1 is a context-free language and so is L2, then the language L3 obtained by the concatenation of L1 and L2 also gets to be a context-free language. And now we will go through some examples and see how L3 is also a context-free language and how context-free languages are closed under concatenation also. So in example 1 we have taken L1 same as before, A and Bn, in which the number of A's and number of B's would be the same, and we have taken L2 as same as before as in example 1 of the union property, as CMDM, in which the number of C's and number of D's would be the same. And I have shown in this slide the strings that L1 consists of and the strings that L2 consist of. Now for when we do the concatenation of L1 and L2, what we see is that the each and every one of the string of L1 gets it's kind of a dot product type operation, in which if AB is the concatenation of AB and CD will result in ABCD, and AB and CCDD will result in AB double C double D. So this is how we get the set L3. And then I have also shown in the slide the strings that L3 consists of, which is basically the derived set of the after the concatenation of L1 and L2. Now we can again observe that at this set L3 is also a context-free language, as we can draw the pushdown automata for it. And so again, our like for the concatenation property, our first observation is that if L1 and L2 are context-free languages, then the language L3 obtained after the concatenation of L1 and L2 is also a context-free language. Now we will go through example 2. So now we are in example 2. In example 2, I have taken L1 as a to the power n, b to the power n, and c to the power m. So basically n will consist of strings in which the number of a's and number of b's would be equal to each other, but the number of c's would be different. And for language L2, I have taken c to the power k to the power k, which basically means that the strings in L2 will have equal number of c's and equal number of d's. And now when we will perform the concatenation operation on L1 and L2, we'll get the set L3, which will consist of strings epsilon, ABCD, AB double C double D, and so on. And again, our observation is same, that we can make a pushdown automata for the language L3, and therefore L3 will also be a context-free language. So we have again seen that if L1 is a context-free language and L2 is a context-free language, then after we have done the concatenation of L1 and L2, the language that we get after that is also a context-free language. So by these observations, we can say that the context-free languages are closed under the concatenation property. And if we take any language L1 and L2, and if they would be context-free languages, then the language L3, which would be the concatenation of L1 and L2, will always be a context-free language. Like, it is not limited to just these two examples. Like, it will always work. And then we make the conclusion that the context-free languages are closed under the concatenation property. So now we have come to the clean star property. And basically, in case of contextual languages, what happens is that if L1 is a contextual language, then the language L2, which can be derived as L1 star, will also be a contextual language. So we will go through some examples and see how this works in case of contextual languages. So now in case of example 1 for the clean star property, I have taken L1 as a to the power n, b to the power n, which basically consists of the strings in which the number of a's and number of b's are equal. Like, obviously this is a similar language as we have taken before in the previous slides. Now when we do the L1 star for this language, we get the language L2, which will be a set of the strings like epsilon, AB, AB, and triple ABs, and like that. So this language L2, we can again see that we would be able to make a pushdown automata for this, and thus we can say that L2 is also a contextual language. And so our first observation is that if we have a contextual language L1, and if we do the L1 star operation, then the set that we get after that is also a contextual language. And now we will go to example 2 and see what happens there. So in example 2, I have taken L1 as a to the power n, b to the power n, and c to the power m. And L1 basically consists of strings like epsilon, c, ab, abc, ab double c, basically such that like the number of a's and number of b's are equal, but the number of c's vary. Now when we do the clean star operation for L1, we get a set L2, which consists of strings like epsilon or any number of c's, or strings like ab, followed by any number of c's. And now we can again see that this language L2 is also a contextual language, as we would be able to draw pushdown automata for it. And so we have again observed that when we do the clean star operation for a contextual language, we get another contextual language, and thus we can conclude that like context free languages that are closed under the clean star property. And similarly, as I said for the concatenation property also, that this the cases are not limited to the examples. This thing will work for all the contextual languages. If like when we perform the clean star operation for any contextual language, we would get a contextual language in return. So far we have discussed many examples in union property, in concatenation property, and in the clean star property, and we have seen that how after deriving a third language or deriving a second language after performing the required operation, how we get a contextual language return. And so in these slides I have basically shown how contextual languages are closed under union property, concatenation property, and clean star property. And I hope that you learn something new today. And thank you.